was thinking about doing like a Mexican Tracy Morgan.
Who would that?
I don't no. It's just saying like Mex. I don't want dos leches. I want tres leches. I only want cake with tres leches. I don't eat 2 leches cake. Give me 3 milks. Sorry,
I'm lactose intolerant, but I love the 3 milks.
Tiramisu is just Italian tres leches cake. I told it to some chefs the other day. I was like, they're like, what do you like making? She was a chef, and she was like, oh, tiramisu. I was like, isn't that like an Italian tres leches cake? She was like, no. The other chef was like, a little bit.
I'm trying to think of the name for Mexican Tracy Morgan. It could be just like a comedy duo, Trace E. Morgan.
Trace E. Morgan. Soy Trace E. Morgan. No quiero tres leches. Quiero 4 leches.
What's I'm gonna get you pregnant in Spanish?
La voy a empeñar. I'm gonna get her pregnant.
Dude, over this course of time, like this is gonna be, and this is fun for the cold open too. For anybody that's like coming from the last show of us talking about the Super Bowl,
right,
and talking about all the lead up and everything of the Super Bowl and the Bad Bunny halftime show, and complaining about how cold it is here. Now it's 95 degrees, and we're getting into the NBA Finals. Yeah. I was trying to think of like what sporting events that I've seen to like catch up on fast, and I realized I haven't really watched much of anything. And like the most recent thing, probably the most complete sporting event that I've watched was the Carano Rousey MMA event on Netflix.
Glad you made time for that.
I made the whole, what was it, 3 hours? Yeah, 3 hours.
For something. I mean, listen, I honestly, you guys deserve it because you guys did not get to live through the Mike Tyson first round 30-second knockouts.
Yeah.
Exact same thing. When we had Mike Tyson fights and we were paying $75 for it, and it was like 3.5 hours of fucking shit, and then all of a sudden he gets in the ring, you're hyped up, and then 30 seconds later you're like, all right, that was it. We got, or like 1 round later it was over. So I'm glad that the new generation gets to experience that.
It was so sad to watch the entire thing. Just all these, I didn't even know, like I knew Nate Diaz was fighting. I knew Ngannou was fighting in the pre-card. I didn't know they pulled I didn't know they pulled Dos Santos' old ass out of the crypt to come out there and fight and get his ass beat. But, get that money.
Now you can look forward to the White House lawn fight.
I think I'll skip that one.
Yeah, that
I'm not. I'm morbidly curious about it. But yeah, unless the man himself gets in the ring, I'm not gonna watch.
I mean, listen. But more importantly, I think it's like we fast traveled, right? Listeners have fast traveled from Super Bowl to like, I don't really care about spring training, baseball, NBA regular season. Can we just fast track to World Cup talk and NBA, playoff talk? And that's what we did.
It's exactly, there's nothing personal on the side. There wasn't, nobody was doing anything. We've literally just been sitting at these desks waiting for you, the listener and the viewer. Just get you here. And we're here. You didn't even need the first couple rounds of the playoffs. Because, what was going on there, which I do need to get with you in a second on. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's just Hey, welcome to the 323, everybody. Welcome back. I'm your host, Reed Murphy. That's the Big Chief Burrito, Luis Martinez, joining in. We haven't been here, but we're here now. We're here. Daddy's home. And we're here to comfort you, bring you into the summer of sports. It's going to be an awesome summer of sports. And the show is back on somewhat of a consistent basis. We'll be having a State of the Union podcast to talk about everything that's been going on in life since and all the fun stuff that's coming. Some odds making to do. Who knows? Maybe there was you had a little hint with Tracy Morgan earlier. So
that was a completely out of context quote. You were doing the Tracy Morgan impersonation out of nowhere, and I was like, "That's an interesting thing to say," and now it makes sense.
So. We got plenty of fun stuff. Of course, this is a new studio, kind of new old school studio. So bear with us with audio, video, anything that we're working out. We're getting back into the hang of things. But folks, we got a lot to talk about, and it's going to be strictly basketball today. We can't there's no I know the draft happened. I know that, baseball's going allegedly. World Cup is coming. We got plenty to talk about over the coming months.
Because I started with you guys World Cup last time, so
exactly. It's almost like the anniversary. It's literally an anniversary. So before we do anything, we got to hit the song.
Predicting basketball. Predicting basketball. No more about football. So predicting basketball.
That's right. We're predicting basketball. It's basically W323 NBA has returned. W323 and CA has returned. We're talking Knicks basketball. We got Knicks, and it doesn't even matter who they're playing, but they're playing the Cleveland Cavs. For the first time, the Cavs have made the conference finals since 2018. Knicks are back in it again. And then on the west side, we got the San Antonio Spurs versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Literally the only matchup that made sense looking at the Western bracket that could possibly happen and be interesting. So we got both to talk about. I don't know how
LeBron tried though. He tried a little.
I'm low key like that.
I don't think Luka would have made a difference anyway.
I do think so. We can. You want to get that out of the way because
Sure.
that's been the topic of conversation, which is crazy to me. We have a team in the Oklahoma City Thunder and a now two-time MVP. Shout out to that dork Shams Charania, according to Blake Griffin, for outing the MVP early yesterday. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder won MVP again. The Thunder have literally been as dominant as you could possibly ask for from a reigning championship team in the playoffs. Like they are crazy. But all that came out of that series last week was the Lakers and talking about LeBron and where's LeBron going to go and what's going to happen with the Lakers now. So I don't know. We've had a couple of days. We've had months to gestate and manifest on this. We've literally, since the last time we recorded, we were talking about LeBron retiring, the Lakers being done, all this shit. And it's just roller coastered up and down. Everything in the NBA is roller coastered up and down. Where are you at right now in terms of LeBron, his legacy with the Lakers now, what the future is?
I mean, I think my thought on LeBron and the Lakers is that he's an all-time great, but in most actual Laker fans' mind, I don't think he cracks like their all-time starting five. I don't think LeBron could be the GOAT, but not be like the top in the top five Lakers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's a weird dichotomy when you have a franchise that's so storied. Like Aaron Judge with the Yankees. I mean, Aaron Judge might be the GOAT right now, but he's not Mickey Mantle or Babe Ruth, right? So he goes up against a really, he wouldn't start in right field. You know what I mean? Aaron Judge is a GOAT, but he wouldn't start in right field for the all-time Yankees. So LeBron made the decision this year of money over a possible championship because he could have, not opted in and, or bought himself out and had a chance to be in Cleveland right now playing the Knicks. He could have been playing for San Antonio right now if he wanted to. He could have been playing with Steph trying to get them into the playoffs, but he decided to cash those checks as Jalen Rose has, keep cashing those checks. And now he's got to choose money or a chance to win a championship. So if he goes to whoever's got the most room or somebody who can pay him, there's going to be limited teams. But if he wants to take a minimum to go back to Cleveland for one more year with Mitchell and Harden, or if he wants to go to New York, if he wants to go to Houston with KD, if he wants to go to Golden State, he wants to go to Oakland, he's got options. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe he goes to China where he loves to play,
What a wild end of career turn that would be to just do the last season in China, do his one last dance tour.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely. And then I mean, he played with his son, so I think that. But really, Kobe, Magic, all these players that are bigger than him in LA. I think his legacy in LA is somebody who wanted to be in LA and got him a pretty meaningless championship, and which is just like he put it on. It's a number. It's not really like a championship that Laker fans are like. Oh, I think they would, of all their championships, they would throw this one in the trash before out of all of them.
It is wild to think about with that Lakers all-time starting five, because like now, if I think on it, yeah, I think like you're right. Like LeBron's an awesome person to have in your legacy of your team, but you got Magic. If I'm thinking off the top, Magic
and Kobe at the two guards. I mean, maybe you put him at the three, but you're not. He's not center or power forward. He's not Worthy. I think people would take Worthy's had multiple championships.
You get Worthy,
Kareem,
Shaq, Kareem, Wilt, like even Jerry. Like, it's so much.
Exactly. There's people that would put Worthy and some of the players from Showtime Laker or Paul Gasol, that are more valuable as Lakers to them, So
right.
So it's an interesting dilemma with LA there. He's been on 3 teams. So and he's won a championship with all 3. 4 for 4, I think, is something that probably would be another challenge if he could go 4 for 4 and just pick a team to go win another one. I think that would be it. I think New York makes sense. Like whether the Knicks win or lose, if he's like, dude, that's a tipping point decision right there. Heat over going to the Garden, and I think that would be something. Whether the Knicks win the championship, lose to the Cavs, I think that would be something that would make sense from a brand legacy perspective. I'm going to go play in the Mecca for a year. I've always wanted to do this. I get to be a free agent now. It's not about money anymore. You can make $40 million in advertising off the court in New York. So it's going to come down to whether he wants another fat paycheck or whether he wants to be in a he can. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what he decides to do.
I'm really interested too, and I hope it's not he can't possibly do the decision again and do that whole long drawn out thing. It's actually gotten shorter every time he's done this because he went from the decision to an article to a little press release. But this is going to be the first time he's tested unrestricted free agency in his career, which is an insane thing to think about. But I'm agreeing with you too. There aren't that many options, as many as the media wants to put out there. But I agree on those kind of those top 3 there. To me, the Lakers makes the most sense to stay, just in terms of families out there. He's got his son on the team, but his other son is also playing at USC. So why leave California at that point? Plus, all your media, all your marketing opportunities are already. You've invested yourself so much in LA.
I don't think Hollywood makes sense though. Do you think he would
Clippers? No, I can't see the Clippers. I could see if he stays in California, maybe the Warriors.
The Warriors would be kind of like the in between choice because he's still in California and you get to play with Steph and Draymond for a year.
Right, and then I think my number 3 on there would be even over Cleveland. I think Cleveland's the outside chance just there because it's Cleveland and that's home. And you could do the homecoming. Number 3 to me is the Knicks. It's got to be the Knicks because that's the Mecca. That's the other entertainment opportunity. If you want to go somewhere and continue the entertainment brand and continue to expand, going East Coast and expanding into New York would make a lot of sense. And you have all the opportunities in the world. It would be the biggest show and everything, the biggest media show going to New York.
Yeah, and if you have to trade any assets to go and get it, and he came in at a veterans or an exemption, it would be incredible.
Yeah, so those are the 3 choices I can see, but for me it's LA for him.
Never count out Miami. Because he could do Decision 2.0, and then once again he's going to be saying I'm going to take my talents back to South Beach. I'll be playing at Mom Swap Arena in beautiful Miami, Florida, for the next 7 years. and that's going to be LeBron's new legacy.
As somebody who, listens to the Dan Lepetard show semi-regularly, and because of that gets all of this Miami Heat shit thrown into my algorithm now, and seeing, like, I know a lot about the Miami Heat and their fans, and they think they're going to get everybody. Like, it seems like everybody could go to the Miami Heat, including one Giannis Antetokounmpo, who the last time that we talked, we were talking about these, bubbling Giannis trade rumors. And then nothing happened, and he signed with Kalshi or whatever, or Polymarket or wherever the fuck that he wanted to sign.
He didn't want to go full trade demand, and there was no incentive.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys. But now it is looking, the Milwaukee Bucks have expressed interest that they're going to move Giannis. As we're still talking, we're talking about a little bit of offseason stuff. What are your expectations for Giannis? Could you see Miami? Could you see New York?
New York passed on going after Giannis. They used their draft picks for Bridges, which, seemed like an interesting play, and obviously is going to play out this round when they have the two wings to throw at Harden and Mitchell, because I expect them to be guarding Mitchell most of the series. So with New York and Giannis, I think New York made their bed. They invested all this capital into Bridges and Towns, and I think they felt like that it would be against their culture that they were trying to build to all of a sudden then say, yes, but now we can get Giannis, so we're going to just give up on Cat after Cat had bought so far in, was trying to be a better big man. So I think the Knicks are a long shot, unless they shit the bed very clearly against Cleveland, in which case then it'll be like, well, we didn't make the finals with Cat, and now we can kind of package him in OG or Mikal, and Milwaukee would have to be okay with taking that versus more picks. I think Miami, other teams can give them more picks than the Knicks do. It'd be kind of like, and then what's the core? Jalen and Giannis, and maybe OG or Bridges, and that's about it. You're going backwards at that point. So I really like OG. OG could have a team built around him.
Oh, for sure.
So, and he's not, and at some point OG must be like, actually I'm the guy here. Jalen's good and all, he's a closer, but I'm the dude getting shit done. So I can see Miami. For him. Bring the whole family, package deal, all the bros back together, terrorizing fucking South Beach.
It would be something. I'd just be curious to see if Pat Riley and the Heat would actually pull the trigger and trade. I don't know who it would take for them. Definitely Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is always that guy. Yeah. I would assume Bam Adebayo would be the only person not tradable on that team, and you want to pair him up with Giannis, but just like they're so kind of wishy-washy on these things. So I definitely think that they'll make the hunt. I think the team, and it saddens me to say, and I hate to say it, and I hate to see it, I think Boston does make a lot of sense. I do think the Celtics make a lot of sense. I think moving Jalen Brown could really work for them, and I think it would work for Milwaukee. I think it would work for Jalen Brown, who's gotten this taste of being the guy now.
And as soon as he heard that Milwaukee, he's like, no, I want to be in Boston.
Boston's cool.
Boston.
No, it's all right, Jalen. Take the podcast over there. Stephen A. Smith won't find you in Milwaukee. I would hate to see the Celtics rise up with Giannis and a healthy Tatum, but it would also be fun.
Look, if the fix is in, you're going to be talking about, LA. The Clippers obviously would make sense, to try to make that block move.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That would be another reason for LeBron to go back to LA if they come somehow finagle the lead into fucking giving them a couple of draft picks for Austin Reeves and then get Giannis in LA with Luka. I mean, I think that would be the league dream. But I think Giannis, Miami, maybe Chicago, maybe in one of these, would be a good team.
Chicago could be like a good dark horse. Again, Golden State maybe if we're throwing in those kind of things. If they throw in Butler,
You know who I would go in? The hardest I would go in is Minnesota.
Yeah.
Giannis and Ant.
Oh, it would be that could be the move. That could be exactly what they need.
Get Gobert out of there. Get them some. You're gonna have to move pieces for draft picks and then package them together to get them to Milwaukee.
The Gobert situation is crazy. I guess now as we can start to dive into the playoffs a little bit with Gobert, it's like you're watching against against the Spurs here. You're like, yeah, get Gobert out of here. What can you do with them? But also, what can anybody do against Wembanyama? What can anybody do against Victor Wembanyama? I watched him sit on the bench and grab his teammate by the neck while he's sitting. His teammate was standing up. His teammate was 6'8", and he just reached over, grabbed him by the neck, and pulled him down so he could hear him better. Like that's an insane human being. So what is Gobert to do? So you get rid of Gobert and you can bring in Giannis, and then all of a sudden Jokic is having his way with you because for whatever reason Gobert is like the stopper there against Denver. I'm curious to see what these eliminated teams can do, because if anybody is close outside of the dominance of OKC, the coming dominance of San Antonio, I do love Minnesota. I love watching Ant play. I love the potential for that team. I mean, do you think they could still keep advancing with this core? Because that's what they're claiming already, is that they would like to stick with their core team.
I mean, as somebody who has been on the Julius Randle bandwagon before, he giveth and he taketh away, man. You could be riding high for 7-10 games in the regular season. He's putting up 30, just balling out of control, and then all of a sudden he loses it. He starts, displaying crazy shit on the floor. So, no, I don't think you keep that core together. Everything that I've seen from Minnesota is them ready to just fucking every Minnesota fan that I know is like, keep Ant, Nazir maybe, and just everybody else can go. Conley can fucking they already have his Uber ordered for the airport. Like, just please no. Let's give me a point guard under 40 years old.
That would always be nice. So, of the eliminated teams so far, we've only got 4 teams left. Of all the teams that made it in this year and eliminated, who do you think has the best chance to maybe rise up, rebuild, and rise up next year? From both, I guess, from the Eastern Conference and the Western.
I would say probably in the East, probably Boston. They got a little. They play. I don't know if they really wanted to make a deep run with a freshly healed Tatum. I think they were basically trying to be like, we're going to try to do this our way, and if we make it through, we will. But if not, I think Boston's content and now resting. And Tatum came back and didn't get hurt. Jalen showed you something. They have opportunity next year. So Boston is who I'm most afraid of next year. And then in the West, it's always going to be the Lakers right now with Luka, because it's Luka's team now, and there's so many moving parts there. So see how it goes.
I think in the West, probably of the entire playoffs, of any team that I was most disappointed in, it was Houston. I really expected so much more from Houston.
Yeah, that burner this year just kind of destroyed that whole team. Everything early out of Houston was like so good, and they had so many fucking bodies and so many ballers, and then it was just like.
And you could just see that vibe from the team. Like, they just did not care for each other. There was no good vibe with Durant. I don't know what's going to happen with KD next year. That's probably a very underrated storyline going into this offseason, of if KD lasts in Houston, if they move on from him already and send him somewhere else with his hometown team. It could be his homecoming. We did say before, bring KD home and stuff. Let us use the first overall pick first.
But we do have before we get to the matchups, we do need to get we need to get a temperature check in DC post, because you guys have been the tank masters for the last 8 years. You guys have been Tankapalooza. Thank you very much. Thank for the memories, all of the above, and it finally pays off in what everybody is calling, another big draft.
Yeah, and I can't believe it worked, especially with all the week of lead up talking about, Adam Silver's coming up with plans to eliminate tanking and to shut that shit down. And I agree, because that one reason that we didn't have a lot to talk about these last couple months with the regular season is how bad the basketball was, with so many of these teams trying to tank and so many of these teams trying to get into the lottery and literally playing nobody players so that they could get in there. The Wizards gave up 83 points to Bam Adebayo. He's number 2. He overtook Kobe all time on points scored in a game because of the tanking. But God bless it, it worked. That's what we needed. We sacrificed to the basketball gods. We angered Lakers fans, and we got the number 1 pick in DC. So, yes, I'm very happy. I think Wizards fans are very happy, very, very happy. Super happy it happened this year. Feels like a perfect storm because, like you said, it's a deep draft. It's a really, really strong, top-loaded draft. Some deep talent in there too.
You have the ability to do a Boston, when the year they moved back to Tatum, because there's a clear 1-2, and depending on which side you fall on, if they're okay with either one, they can stack. They can move back 1 pick and maybe get the guy they wanted all along.
That's the thing. Like I was looking forward to getting a top 4 pick. I was thinking there's no way they're going to give us number 1.
Like
they're going to try to
give me Boozer.
Yeah, give me Boozer, give me Patterson. I can deal with either of that. AJ DePanza he looks awesome. Like he's awesome at BYU. If he wants to stay in Utah, brother, we got a great Mormon temple here in DC. People think it's Disney World when they pass by it. You'll love it.
Bryce Harper used to go there.
Right. So come, bring it on. It's exciting. It's exciting finally to have what's going to look like a good core. I don't know how many of them will be there. I'm not counting on Anthony Davis still being on the team
you had some assets there too.
Right. By that season point, but Trae Young is awesome. He's a fun asset to have. He fits perfectly for DC and what the city likes. Having Sarr, everybody that we're going to be running with on this team and whoever we can pick up. I'm not crazy about the coach and Brian Keefe and, keeping the tank commander here for another year, but maybe you give him a shot and see if he's can actually coach. But it's just nice to be rewarded for sucking. Finally, we're finally rewarded a year before they change the rules, because next year it's going to be something like if you finish in the bottom 2 or bottom 3, you don't your lottery chances significantly go down. So they're trying to get rid of the tanking aspect. So yes, let us be rewarded for being awful. Utah can sit back there with their Karl Malone statue and take whatever they get and give us something finally, because they know we got Jaden Daniels here. The Nats have some young talent rising up. Ovechkin's going to be here till he's 90. Let's get the Mount Rushmore and DC Stars back in. It's a good market when the sports are fun. The NBA will be rewarded. Promise.
Listen, you trade AD to the Rockets for KD.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then you take one of them 2 cats. You can't go wrong. I think you move back and you give the Mormon to Utah. I think it fits.
It's honestly, I don't hate the package. I don't hate the idea. Moving back 1, especially if we could get Ace Bailey in that trade, which I feel like would have to be some form of that. If we could get Ace Bailey and the pick back, I would be fine with it. Patterson, I do think is going to be a star. Just need to get
Patterson's
right
more
now.
DC to me. I think Patterson's kind of screams more DC to me than I think. But like I said, I think key thing is it feels different when you're a fan and you feel like there's somebody competent running shit.
Right. That's the whole thing. Like somebody was talking about, it was trade it for Giannis. Everything. And I think about the Family Guy the whole meme of the mystery box. It was you could have Giannis, or you could have the mystery box, which could be anything. Could even be Giannis.
AD for Giannis.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I'll take it. Yes, I'll take that. And we'll take the honest too. We'll take the whole family.
Hey, I
And
mean,
we'll take them
it's a packet. Like,
take them out
yeah.
to Joe's Chili Bowl. Yeah.
Now, if the Knicks trade Brunson for little LeBron son, then I'm gonna be pissed. But so we should talk about these matchups.
Yes, let's get into the full matchups here. I think by the time this airs, the first game of Thunder Spurs will have aired. We'll be
That's
coming
tonight,
on.
right?
Yeah, we'll be coming on Tuesday morning. Good morning, everybody. But we'll be right in time for Cavs Knicks. I was going to ask, which are you more excited for, these two series? But I have a feeling. I know.
Excited. I'm more excited about Spurs Thunder. I'm nervous about Knicks Cavs, even though the Knicks are favorite. Spurs Thunder, because SGA is obviously the Thunder is like the meta of the NBA right now. They're fast, they shoot, they know how to draw fouls, they play a little dirty. They play, they get under your skin a little bit. They're annoying. It's a very meta team. And I think it rubs people the wrong way. Clearly, I'm not a huge fan of, seeing SGA just fall every single time he puts up a shot. But then again, I also root for Jalen Brunson, who falls to the floor 70% as much, but he still does a fair amount of falling to the floor. But he's also a little guy. So it's a team you love to hate, but if you were rooting for him, I think you'd obviously be a big fan of their style and how gritty they are and how talented they are. And this is like a Spurs team that is technically ahead of schedule, because of how fucking incredible Wemby is. And they're going into a series where it's like house money. And basically, if they win, they're ahead of schedule. And if they lose, they got next year, and it's a building rivalry. If they lose and if it's a tight series, it's a Wemby legacy game, basically, just to kind of put him up there. If he can get the team to the final at this age, ahead of schedule, it would be like if Jordan beat, Larry Bird the year that Jordan scored 63 in the playoffs, but the Celtics still lost, But Jordan lost that series, scored 63 against the Celtics. Wemby could lose this series, score 80 against the Thunder in one of the games, you know what I mean? And cement himself as, the guy, and then start winning championships next year. Or you could get to the finals this year and prove something and then, be in a pretty even matchup against the Knicks or the Cavs. So I'm more interested in that. And then if the supporting cast is as ready to be ahead of schedule as Wemby is, because these guys are also people that you think would in another year or two are going to be hitting. They shouldn't be this good, Their guys shouldn't be this good this early, And they got lucky in the draft a couple of years ago, getting to pick high again. They got So the Spurs are lucky as fuck. They've always been lucky. So I think it's going to be. I'm rooting for the Spurs. I think that I like the Spurs purely from not even a matchup standpoint for the Knicks if they do get there. But I'm very interested and invested in seeing Wemby, and this is going to be the first time that I'm going to really watch him play full games. So I'm other than just highlights in a game here or there, I'm very excited about being able to watch him and see how he deals with like the meta.
Yeah, that's what I'm very excited to see the growth and the rise from him. How dominantly is he going to step up in this finals here against OKC? Because like you said, this is one of the most meticulous, just dynamic, death by 1,000 paper cuts kind of team in OKC. They are playing perfect team ball. Shea is annoying as hell, but lethal and just a menace. If the Thunder could continue to dominate and just like completely dominate the Spurs, quiet Wemby, everything, then we're talking about some type of like freakish dynasty team here with the Thunder. Yeah. But
and an obvious Giannis destination.
Obviously. I was going to be so furious if the Thunder wound up with the number 1 pick.
If either one of these two teams get Giannis, it'd be fucking over.
It's done. Yeah, you don't have any hope. And watching this growth for Wemby here and seeing what he's going to be able to do, seeing how, because everybody's terrified of him for the future. Everybody knows this is a dude who already so young is who was it? I think Paul Pierce called him last week already. He thinks potentially the greatest basketball player of all time, just in terms of a pure talent and spectacle of what he is and what he can do. Not obviously no rings yet, but we'll see what happens over the course of time. He's so hard to defend in every way, and he just keeps getting better. He's probably going to practice with the Monks again this offseason. We already saw what that did for him when he shaved his head and did the full Tim Duncan. So, like, this series is going to be so fun. I hate that it's the West Coast one because I gotta stay up all the way. I'm already work overnight, so I hopefully will be able to watch the end of these games. But it's going to be a fun ass series. I am curious with Cavs Knicks, like which would possibly be the better matchup for the Knicks. I'm not going to say that yet because I think this is going to be a tough series for New York. It's going to be really hard for Cleveland in the Garden, and with how turned up that fan base is going to be there in New York, and Tracy Morgan.
They can smell it. Knicks fans right now can smell it. I did want to wrap up just one other thing about the Thunder is, if you guys are familiar with GTO, game theory optimal, which is something that's used a lot in poker. It's in the theory that any game has a theoretical perfect way to be played, you know. Mm-hmm. And in poker, it involves sizing of bets, frequency of bluffs, and different things you do with different combinations of cards and different boards. But there's a thing called game theory optimal, or GTO, that sort of gives you this idea of how the game should be played. And the Thunder are as close to like a GTO team as you could be built, you know. So to echo your point, you get a team that's young and ahead of schedule, and a player like Wemby that's just so incredibly, that's outside of the game, that breaks the rules of the game basically, against a team that's basically constructed and taught to play almost perfectly. Then you get this position. Then you get this very, very interesting, you know, combination of styles. And if styles makes fights, this is going to make, you know, an incredible series.
That's a fascinating way to look at it. That's a really fascinating way to look at it. And yeah, that fight comparison, is this going to be the highly technical, just perfectly designed matchup versus like a heavyweight knockout in Tyson and everything that can just destroy you by sheer force and ability.
Yeah, absolutely. But as far as the Knicks matchups, I think that or the Cavs. Well, let's just jump into Knicks Cavs real quick, and then we can talk about the matchups. But
yeah,
you know, like I said, Knicks fans can smell it, and they haven't been this excited. I don't think we ever got this excited during the Melo years, because we knew there was a lot of other teams there that were better than us. I think the Sprewell Houston years, I think, in the 90s Knicks was like when last time we felt like this. But you know, rust versus rest is what people have been talking about all week, because you know, what's the biggest difference between the Knicks last year and the Knicks this year? And it's very simply minutes played and number of games lost. Right. I pretty much felt this as a fan, but I looked it up, and essentially from 2024 to 2025, you know, just take a look at Jalen Brunson. You know, played, you know, 284 minutes last season, 2,842 minutes last year. He played 2,600 this season. So that's 200 minutes in the regular season. He went from 35 minutes per game to 32 minutes a game, you know. The only players in the Knicks that increased their minutes workload was Deuce, who started playing more, and Mitchell Robinson, who was healthier. Yep. Everybody else, their minutes decreased. Josh Hart went from 37 to 31. That's incredible. OG went from 36 to 33. Bridges went from 36 to 32. Everybody played less, and it manifested in less injuries. And the team going into not only that, but they played like 300 less minutes in the first and second round this year compared to the first and second round last year. So if you would have signed me up for going into an ECF against whoever, with a relatively healthy team, and even OG's injury if it had been last year, I think it would have been a 2-3 week injury because of how much Thibodeau was overplaying these guys.
Mm-hmm.
They have a deeper bench. Mike Brown actually plays the 8, 9, 10th, and sometimes 11th player. Landry got minutes. Deuce got more minutes. They got GTA 6 there. They got Clarkson gets minutes. So it's a healthier, deeper bench, less use, less hurt team. So Knicks fans are hoping that Mike Brown is that Thibodeau is Mark Jackson, and
Right.
Mike Brown is Steve Kerr, right? And he's taken the culture that Tibbs, because he still got the defense. They're still dogs. They still got the two wings out there, and a healthy Knicks team that hasn't been beat up all week, and that blew the barns off of Philly. Just blew the place out. Took over Philadelphia, like cheesesteaks for everybody. And fucking and then you got the Cavs, and it's Connecticut's finance. He's a Mets fan, he's always gets a pass for being like the number one Mets fan. His daddy was a Met, and he's like the prodigal son that always wanted to be in the Garden and could never get here, and he gets to play in the bright lights. So how much does Donovan Mitchell push for the spotlight and to do it by himself, or does he get like the big man and Harden involved and spread it around? Because the Knicks can shut down one or two players. I think the Knicks is going to be like if Jared Allen and Harden and Mitchell is distributing, and they're all getting buckets, and it's going to be harder for the Knicks to score, because the Knicks score, but they more shut down. So I think Cleveland's going to have to just shoot the lights out. And I don't know if the home crowd is going to be as effective on Mitchell, because I think he's craving that. I think he's gonna have some incredible games. I think he's gonna have hit some incredible shots at the Garden. I think he's destined to do that a few times and hit a dagger in New York. Yeah. I think it'll happen, but will there be enough time for Jalen to come right back at it and hit another dagger? Because we got Jalen, who's a fucking closer. We got Karl Anthony Towns, that's now evolved from like just a shooting big man to a big man that was trying to act more like a big man to now he's acting like a passing big man, and he's getting more dimes and he's a sister up and he's getting more people involved and it's unlocking other players, and Deuce is taking a step up. So I am confident. I think it's going to be Knicks in 5 myself. But I think Mitchell like hits like a game winner or a shot to go into overtime in game 1 or 2. I could see the Knicks maybe losing game 1 if there's like, rust, like they a close game 1, Mitchell like still hot from 2 days ago, makes a pass or one of them hits a shot, boom, and then the Knicks coming back and going 4 straight. That I could see that happening.
Yeah. I'm honestly with you on that. I agree almost on the exact same. Knicks in 5, maybe Knicks in 6. I don't really see it going past 6 here. Yeah. Especially just like you all are playing such better dynamic team ball, I think, than last couple of years, which were also awesome for the team. But it's just that health, like you said, the health and being able to be clean right now after just shitting on Philly, which was also. I was really looking forward to that series. This is exactly. Let me tell you how that went for me. I watched the Sixers, their game 7 in the first round. I was like, yo, this is gonna be fun. Embiid is turned up. I was like, we're gonna see some legacy shit from him. And all of a sudden, I blink. I'm like, when is the game? And I look, and it says the Knicks won the series 4-0. I was like, what the fuck happened? I was like, what? I was like, how did I miss the entire thing? Like so quietly.
The Boston series kind of was like, it kind of lulled you in because it was like a good series back and forth, and it was like, but in the end, it's like, all right, both of these guys went to a game 7. All right, tough matchup. It's like, nope, actually, I'm just gonna mop the floor with them.
Yeah, they were just trying to see who was going to lose to the Knicks. With the Cavs, I agree with you. Like Donovan is built for this. He is going to torture a little bit. It's fun to see Harden in this environment, and fun to see Harden in this position, and see if the playoff thing is going to reel its head in, because I mean he didn't really perform in this past game, but or if he's going to be a huge factor against the Knicks. It's going to be a lot of fun energy in this. I will say though, the 2026 Cavs, this is a stat I just saw on Reddit. The 2026 Cavs are, since the first round became a best of 7 in 2003, the 2026 Cavs are the 6th team to play 2 7-game series in the first 2 rounds and win those and advance to the conference. The other 5 being the 2003 Cavs, the 2006 Suns, the 08 Celtics, the 16 Raptors, and the 2020 Nuggets. Both of the last 2 lost in the conference finals in 6 games and 5 games respectively. 08 Celtics won the titles. The 06 Suns lost to the Mavs, and the 03 Mavericks lost to the eventual champion Spurs. I think that is going to take a huge. That's a really big gap here. That the Knicks had so much time being able to completely sweep the Sixers, get healthy, get right. They could have some time to, get ready, get hot. The Cavs are going to be tired, man. If this series goes to 5, if the series goes to 6, I think you're going to really start to see some shit start to fall off on Cleveland here.
I think,
and just you all can take advantage this time instead of before, where Tibbs was already running you all into the ground.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think if they have a chance, it's continuing off of that momentum. They played yesterday.
Yeah.
And they play tomorrow. They have one day off. They rest. If they still have that momentum, where they can get us is game 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if New York wins game 1, then the series is pretty much, because I think if the Knicks just figure them out and it's like, all right, we got you guys, boom, boom, boom. It's not going to get easier. They're not going to get more rest as the series goes on. They need, and then for Harden, if he's the one that makes the shot, a big shot, then that could do something for his legacy. If he hits a big shot in the Garden at some point, like a clutch end of game shot at the Garden at some point, that's going to be that's big for him.
Yeah. And I'm kind of rooting for that for him, to be honest. I like to see this for him. But you're right. If there's any chance for Cleveland at all, I think they got to get game 1. Get game 1, get that momentum, get that energy that's going to come down from, Knicks fans here. It'll be monstrous for them. But if you all come and just empty the clip on them here in game 1, get that crowd energy behind you, get all the fans. It doesn't matter what happens in game 2. Wouldn't matter what happens in game 3. You all, that hype would swell and be there for the Knicks. I don't think that they could. I don't think they could lose.
You're doing Knicks in 5 as well?
I'm gonna go Knicks in 6 just to keep it interesting.
What are you taking in the Spurs?
Oof, man. I'm honestly, if Wemby stays healthy through this and he doesn't throw any more assassination attempts with his elbows, get suspended, I'm taking OKC in 7. I'm taking OKC in 7 in this one.
I'm taking the Spurs in 7.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. See, now I'm hoping we get to that point so we can do a live stream. Let's go ahead and say if we get to that point, we'll do some live streams and some live watch-alongs of these things. That would be fun.
I'm going to be watching game 1. I'm going to be watching probably while I get tattooed or while I tattoo.
There you go. We need to schedule some things for the fans. We do need to let the fans and let the people know that we are going to be around. We'll be trying to give some post-weekend recaps of everything that's been going on in sports, because we're starting to get to that time. I did another event, a full sporting event I watched, the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, really?
It's 2 minutes, but I watched the whole thing. I watched the 30 minutes leading up.
Better than the Ronda Rousey fight.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. The Ronda Rousey fight honestly went exactly how it would go if I walked into the cage.
Yes.
If I walked into the cage and I saw her, as soon as we get down on the ground and she puts my arm in, I was like, okay, all right, we're good.
Yeah, she could have a Star Wars show.
Could have. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what the bet was.
All she needed to do was not say dumb shit, and she could have had her own little Star Wars show. Nobody bothering her. But
If you win, Disney's like telling Carano, if you win, we'll put you back on the Mandalorian. If you lose,
no,
stick to those Jean-Claude Van Damme direct-to streaming movies.
Yes.
Aaron Eckhart, top 5 direct streaming actors.
Well, more movie talk, more sports talk coming from your network and as well as my network. I'm getting more stuff going. I'm going to start Mi Gente show, and then I think when we do our weekly, I think we're probably going to simulcasting to both networks, so we can go through both our YouTube channels because we can stream to multiple platforms.
Exactly.
And then that way we're all creating content.
Yes, we're all craving content. We're all creative and wanting to get some shit out. So, folks, the families are merging. We're going to start seeing more things.
We have a preview, all that stuff.
We got the World Cup preview. We've got some interesting things in the works. We got T-Ball, which is something that we're going to be starting soon on 323 Network, which is our sports gossip show. And holy shit, there's been so much that we've been missing. Between Rossini, Vrabel, everything. So we'll be catching up on all these things. We have a lot of movie talk with, of course, the Big Chief, with Travis Byram. Scott Elliott will be, getting some college talk coming back. We got him coming back full time. So,
oh, sorry.
Thought he was still on mute.
My bad.
But we got plenty to come. Big Chief Burrito, Luis Martinez, thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing us in to the family and everything. We're coming together like fast and furious.
Yes, sir.
You can find him, of course, Mi Gente show, all the things.
I don't have podcasters. I have family.
We'll be fighting this. We'll be fighting the system. You'll hear more from Tracy Morgan, and we get plenty of those.
I don't want those leches. I want tres leches.
I'm feeling like some frijoles negros.
Quiero frijoles negros. Dos leches.
Folks, find us at the 323 Network. Subscribe, like, review, do all that things. The 323 Network on YouTube. Find the show on Spotify. Go check out Zoo's Views. A new show is coming. New episode is coming out from that of All the Family. And, of course, the State of the Union pod will be coming with some fun news to bring along your way. But in the meantime, folks, stay safe. We'll talk to you later. Enjoy that basketball.
Predicting basketball. Predicting basketball. No more about football. So predicting basketball.